Hi, I'm Sky and welcome back to my channel. I am a saver investor who is on track for my goal of early retirement, and I share tips and tricks of things I've learned along the way, as well as highlight some of my trips that are on my bucket list that I am checking off now. So remember to like and subscribe so you know when I drop a new video, and let's get into today's topic. So today's topic is going to be more of a story time. How I lost over $100,000+ over the years. Now, how did this happen? Well, if you go back to my original video where I discuss how I'm on a journey to retire early, I already had this idea in mind. The goal then was just to find a roadmap to get me there. Now, there are some simple things I knew, such as you had to save, you had to invest into your retirement, and you had to make sure you were able to live with all of your essentials being paid. So, once I got into my first job, I did not delay in contributing to my employer's retirement account. Now, in reality, in the United States, most retirements or even health insurance may be attached to an employer's plan, but it still is up to you to how much you contribute. So I started contributing, I can't remember the exact number, but I did started contributing. And as my salary increased, I also increased my contributions that I was making to my retirement account. My employer did offer a match, even though it is very small. I still made sure I contributed enough to receive the match. The second thing I was doing was making sure that I was saving. Now, this was simply through a savings account, which in the long term was part of my detriment. But I was making sure I was doing what I knew in myself should be done. So, one of my biggest mistakes was not investing at all. And it was not so much that I was outright not investing, it was more a lack of knowledge in how to invest. So once I started being a little more diligent in what were the other options I have to increase my likelihood of getting to my goal, I actually reached out to a consultant or an employee of the retirement plan that my employer uses, and I even went in for a physical meeting. I wanted to make sure what were the things I could do to get me to my goal, to get to my goal to early retirement. And that's when I got a clearer understanding of IRAs, both traditional and Roth IRAs, as an option for essentially building my funds or building my retirement nest egg. So I then started contributing to both a traditional IRA first, and then once my salary increased again, adding a Roth, which is going to be your after tax funds, a Roth IRA as well. Eventually, I was phased out of that based on the amount I made, so that was not directly an option for me. Now, the other thing I was doing on my own was just through my bank putting some of my cash into CDs, but there was still a large portion that I had that was in cash. Another mistake I made. I did not realize it was a mistake at that time because I was still figuring out my roadmap on how to get me to my goal of early retirement. Well, eventually along the way, as I'm chugging along, I start realizing that there should be something else I was doing because at that point I was mistake number one, not investing at all. So I was not surrounded directly, I should say, I did not have a lot of direct individual contact or friends who either understood my journey or who were on the same type of journey of ensuring that they were preparing for retirement because at that point we were young. It was still very much real actively living our lives. So I started reaching out to individuals at work because I did have individuals within my place of employment who I knew were investing. So I reached out to some of these individuals just in casual conversation on what are some of the things I should know, what are some of the things I should do, and it was crickets. It was almost as if I was asking them for their bank account and routing number. all of a sudden, no one knew anything. They could not give me any recommendations. They could not give me any advice. So this then led to me not investing early enough because even though I had a desire to invest, I was still not clear on exactly how to do this. So I went back to my employer's uh, retirement provider and had another consultation. At this point, I explained to that person that, okay, I understand I should be saving. I'm already contributing to my retirement account. I'm maxing out the amount that I can contribute per year. I've already been contributing to my IRAs. I have CDs at my bank. What else can I do to help my money grow? Because I know there are other options to help my money grow. Well, they essentially provided me with the same things that I was already doing, which I said made no sense. I'm already doing those things, so there's no point in us going over those again. What other options are there? I know there are other options. I need to know how to do that. And in reality, what was occurring was they were trying to push me down products they themselves were already selling. And I think at that time, their stock market platform, I think they were either still beginning to work on that or it was something that was another branch of their business where you had there were managed accounts. Essentially, you had to pay into those to have someone guide you on how to manage your money. And so that almost felt like a semi roadblock, or not necessarily a roadblock, but just misinformation and misdirection. So I lost out on the opportunity to invest early, even when I knew I wanted to invest, because I was not getting clear messaging from the consultant on how do I make my money grow at this point besides just sitting in a bank account earning little to no interest, 0.1%, or even the CDs that I was using at my bank that at the time were still not yielding a very significant or robust return. So, next step, I said I need to be a little more, I want to say aggressive. I need to be a little more focused on speaking to individuals that I know are actively doing the things that I'm trying to do. Now, of course, for me, it would be on a smaller scale because I was still in the learning process on how do I make my money work for me without um, being too aggressive. So it would still be on the more conservative growth route as opposed to being extremely aggressive. So I reached out to an individual that I knew at the time was doing real estate, was also investing, and was also essentially being I'm going to say a small scale venture capitalist. But this individual was indeed buying property, flipping properties as a part of his portfolio. So I asked this individual that I knew was actively doing a simple question. The question was, where can I find the information on delinquent properties because I wanted to acquire a property and see if I myself can either flip or acquire a property that needed minimal repairs and make it a rental property. And this individual that I know does this said they had no idea where I would be able to find that information. So again, there were roadblocks along the way from individuals who I knew had the knowledge, but was not willing to share the knowledge. And it was actually very irritating because how is me making a few $100s going to interfere with your ability to make your hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars? And just the roadblocks that I was hitting did slow my progress some. But you want to know what led to a larger, I guess, what led to an awakening. I'll say that. What I believe was the big change in my investing goals or a big change in my trajectory was when zero trade options popped up, meaning brokerage firms, and I think they had to follow the market because there was another provider who came out who was offering $0 trades. And essentially, it was creating do it yourself investors. And because of that, the more well known branded investment trading companies or just investment brokers, and the large ones, they then had to follow suit in providing $0 trades. And because of this, it created an opening for do it yourself investing. And this is what changed my trajectory. Now, even though it changed my trajectory, I was still not investing enough. The reason why is because it was a more of a do it yourself, learn as you go. I was still not willing to be aggressive with my investments, which at the time I should have been, but there was still the protective state of making sure that I would still have money if something completely failed. So I would put either just small amounts into the investing, or I would only buy a few of this, a few of that, and just wait to see what happens, as opposed to jumping right in and spreading the money over a broader range of investments. So this still goes into not knowing what exactly to invest in. If I had been told as simple as invest in an S&P 500 type account, because that encompasses a lot of different accounts under one investment, that simple answer could have changed my trajectory and could have helped me grow way beyond where I am now. But wishful thinking at this point, that did not happen. But back to me now investing. I was still being a little cautious. Like I said, I would buy this option here and then this option here, and then sit and watch to see what happened, because I was still not sure. Still did not have the confidence that over time the market has, or historically the market has shown that over a certain period of time, this is the amount of growth you can expect. I was still not confident on that, so I just sat and watched it grow, or just waited to see what would happen, as opposed to continuously investing, investing, investing. So I slowed myself down in that process. Then eventually I hit an awakening where I said, okay, I have too much money sitting in just cash. I'm not getting the yields I should be getting in just CDs. And I've already maxed out everything on my retirement side. And that's when I then jumped into, I have to be more diligent in putting the money into my brokerage account and actually selecting an option on how to use it. So once that occurred and I got a little bit more on track, it has now catapulted me on my journey to early retirement. So this is just a quick story time on how I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars compounded over the years, when I knew I should be doing something. I just did not know what to do. So hopefully now, with more knowledge that is available to individuals. So if you are starting out early, there is just so much information now on the different routes you can take to either build your savings, work on your investments, build your retirements, or essentially get yourself to financial freedom, that I hope no one else has to go through the rocky road that I had to go through, essentially on the road to discovery of what are the best options for me. So thanks for watching. Remember, this is Sky's Bucket List Life, where I go over tips and tricks of things I've learned along the way on my journey to early retirement. And you know what? If there is any tips or tricks someone has told you along the way, leave it in the comment section. Let's see if we can share and build together. I also feature some of my trips on my bucket list that I am checking off now, because I want to enjoy the journey on my route to early retirement, so that when I get there, I can just continue with all the new adventures that await. All right. So remember to like and subscribe. This is Sky, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.